is an exciting day because we finally got something in the mail we've been waiting weeks and weeks for. This is my completely custom carbon fiber steering wheel from PimpMyEv. Let's get right into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I make content about tech, travel, and camera gear, and we have one of the coolest accessories I have been waiting for from PimpMyEv. But I wanted to do a big reveal with you on this channel, so let's check out what we got. So before I even open this up, maybe we keep the anticipation going. Okay, so first thing to call out is I love that this came with a steering wheel cover branded with the PimpMyEv logo. Really cool company to be working with. I really enjoy the way that they do business and the way that they package their goods. So let's go ahead and take this off. Ooh, man, this thing looks insane. This thing smells insane. So one of the things that I will tell you is this is a complete custom fabrication. You go on the PimpMyEv website, you choose different shapes, sizes. You can do everything from the thumb grooves to the material. You can do a half hybrid, like I have a Alcantara and carbon fiber. You can choose the different trims. Everything is custom, which is why it takes so long to make versus some of the other brands out there that may just give you kind of a cookie cutter template. So what you're seeing here is probably a relatively rare layout. It is not just a spaceship or like cockpit style steering wheel, it's also rounded versus some of the other ones you may see out there. So this is relatively rare. I wouldn't call it a 1 out of 1, but the way I designed it was that I didn't want it to look like anything that you could purchase right off the bat on the market. I wanted it completely custom and completely unique to my specs. But let's take a look at this thing. I'm gonna go ahead and take out the middle because I didn't order the version with the custom airbag cover. I'm just gonna take the OEM one from my steering wheel, install it here, and we'll be completely good to go. But let me quickly walk you around my custom steering wheel and let's talk about the specs. So first of all, what you're seeing here is a rounded cockpit style steering wheel. So down here, pretty traditional shape of a steering wheel. It's one of the things that I wanted is because it's more comfortable to grip. Again, it's a little bit more familiar to those of you that drive regular cars or don't use yokes. But what I love about this is you've got this cutoff up top and you've got this like airplane fighter pilot style grip. This thing looks very cool. I like the style. It's a lot more aggressive, going for a bit of a Batman vibe with my Tesla Model Y. So this kind of fits the bill. And then the other reason why I like this is you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? You get a round steering wheel, but you also get that yoke vibe. So I have a dashboard screen in my Tesla Model Y, and now that this area is removed, you have clear view of that screen, and again, it kind of gives off that whole Batmobile cockpit spaceship vibe that I'm going for. So next, let's talk about the materials this steering wheel is made from. So one, I went with a complete carbon fiber build. This is all real high quality matte finished carbon fiber. It looks absolutely incredible. And again, I'll show you when you're looking at real carbon fiber, there's a lot of depth in the pattern itself. It looks incredibly premium and very, very well made. What you're also going to notice is I went with a hybrid of materials. So down here is full carbon fiber. We've got carbon fiber right here for these panels. And then we've got carbon fiber thumb grooves, which are also custom added. Now, on top of all of this, I have a black Alcantara finish. So you can choose between, perforated leather, smooth leather. You can choose different colors. I wanted to go with Alcantara. I like the feel of Alcantara, and I like this black, kind of like matte textured material contrasting with this relatively smooth matte carbon fiber. So I love this so far. Other reason is I just like the way the Alcantara feels on a steering wheel. I've had cars in the past that have done a hybrid of like perforated leather and Alcantara. I just like the way this feels. And one of the other things you'll notice is I also got to choose the custom stitching. So I went with like a light gray that also matches the satin dark gray wrap of my car. So kind of all going to the same color scheme. And even more detail here, what you'll notice is I went with a gloss black trim finish. Again, a complete custom choice. It could have been a matte black, it could have been carbon fiber as well. I wanted to give this thing multiple finishes, multiple textures to give it some more depth, to give it some more interest other than just like flat carbon fiber across the board. All right, and then I'll turn it around and give you a look. The nice thing is this is an OEM Tesla steering wheel that they have built and fabricated these parts on top. So you're still getting an OEM part. It's just higher quality materials, a different shape, just better across the board, but you're still using a complete OEM housing. And what you'll probably notice slightly different from some of the other steering wheel videos is this has completed internal electronics as well as a heating component. We'll see what that looks like upon install. In the most ideal of ways, I would just pull out the airbag, install it here, and then plug this directly in and it'll work perfectly fine. But I have heard that sometimes it's a little bit easier. Just pull the original buttons from your existing steering wheel, reinstall them here. That will be a challenge for my installer. I'm not gonna install this myself. I'm actually gonna take it to my buddy, Larry, and he's gonna install this for me. All right, so with that said, let's go find Larry. Let's get this installed. Then we can start talking about the experience and what this thing looks like in the car. All right, and here we are in Newark. This is Larry's new studio. This place looks absolutely awesome. Like I said, I was gonna let Larry install this new steering wheel, and we are here today, so pretty excited. We've got the 2023 Tesla Model Y here. Larry's over here setting up, getting ready to install our steering wheel. Thank you, Larry, for having us. This place looks really cool. Larry was mentioning he only moved in a couple of weeks ago, but look at this awesome space. So if you have any Tesla aftermarket installation needs, definitely come here. He also sells a ton of the aftermarket parts that you would find online. So you can actually come here for a one-stop shop to get the parts you need, check out the showroom, and then have it installed. You could probably be on the road in like an hour with whatever your new upgrades are. And let me give you a quick look. So Larry has got our custom steering wheel open right here. This is the custom steering wheel from PimpMyEv. Like I mentioned before, we've got our carbon fiber panels, carbon fiber steering column here, Alcantara, and our carbon fiber thumb grips. And pretty excited to see this install. And again, I think you've seen my channel before. You've seen how fast Larry can install something. It only took him 35 minutes to install the power frunk, so I'm imagining this will be easy work for him. All right, let's get into it. So one of the reasons why I wanted to call Larry and have him install this was because of this whole harnessing situation. I think you can obviously do it by yourself, but again, I didn't want to take the electronics out. Again, you're working with the steering wheel. And one thing that I will say is Larry comes highly recommended by PimpMyEv themselves. So any of the custom steering wheels that they create, if you're in the Bay Area, they recommend you reach out to Larry, have it professionally installed. Obviously, you're working with electronics, you're working with a live airbag. And again, moving the control harness, even though this steering wheel came with its own buttons, still need to move the control module over. You still want to get everything plugged in properly. The other thing I'll mention about the steering wheel is I had the version with the heating installed, so this is a heated steering wheel as well. So again, one of the reasons why I just gave Larry a quick text is it's just better to have a professional install something like this, especially something that's pretty critical, right? This is your steering wheel. Everything should be installed correctly. It should be installed safely. It's the thing that stares you in the face when you're driving your vehicle. So again, a great reason to call someone like Larry to either come out to your home and install it, or you come to his brand new studio here and have it installed. All right, so Larry is popping in the new steering wheel. It already looks so nice. Once we get it installed, we'll drop in the airbag, and I think we should be ready to rock. This thing already looks very cool. Again, it's always really hard to tell in these videos how fast it actually takes, but I think it only took Larry about 10-15 minutes to get everything pulled off, installed, even the electronics. And it is, boom. That is the honk of success. All right, all the buttons, all the electronics. We've got movement. Testing looks good. I also really love that the buttons came with the steering wheel, so we didn't have to take the ones out of the OEM one. And obviously these buttons work with the computer module that we just installed. Everything is looking really good. All right, so it's been a couple weeks and we've been testing this fully custom steering wheel from PimpMyEv. Honestly, I love the way this thing looks. The vibe is very much Batman, and it looks great with the all matte carbon fiber interior upgrades I've made to this Tesla Model Y as well. So let's talk about the driving experience so far. I mean, first of all, every time I lay hands on this steering wheel, it blows my mind, the quality. The Alcantara feels really nice. I know some of you may worry about like the sweatiness of it. I don't really have sweaty hands, and when I'm in my car, the temperature's pretty modulated, so I'm not in this vehicle sweating all over the place. So I actually don't think the Alcantara is a problem. I actually think it's really great. It feels really nice and just premium in my hands. And then let's talk about the carbon fiber. I mean, this stuff feels incredibly premium. It is so nice to hold in the hand. And I really enjoy the combination of textures that I have here with the steering wheel. We've got the Alcantara, we've got the matte carbon fiber, and then I kept the stock airbag with the airbag cover, and it gives you this really nice matte rubberized feel. So I actually think this is a great looking setup. The combination of different blacks and monotone grays along with different textures and patterns makes this thing look premium, but also very OEM. Okay, so outside of look and feel, I bet the biggest question is like, how is it to drive such an oddly shaped steering wheel? Well, I honestly enjoy it a ton. Every time I get in, it's like getting into the cockpit of a spaceship. And because this is a custom airplane cockpit style top with a more traditional rounded bottom, you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? So there's a couple things to call out. One, you get the benefits that you would with the yoke. So you can see here, I have a Hansshow H6 display, which I like. I like having my information in front of me. Not having the top of the steering wheel is perfect, and it's like this great cutout for all the information I need when driving. Also adds to that spaceship vibe. But secondly, I still have a traditional bottom half of the steering wheel. So comfort-wise, I really enjoy this. And making maneuvers like U-turns, parallel parking, or sharp turns is actually not too bad, because what I do is I grab this nub up here for either side, and that gives me a lot of leverage to crank the wheel to the left or the right, and again, I can complete my turns. So driving with this feels pretty natural, right? Because the bottom of the steering wheel is pretty much cut like your OEM regular rounded steering wheel, which I enjoy. I've got a natural grip here with the Alcantara. It's really nice as well. But when you're going for a sharper turn, instead of having like the classic cut yoke, I actually like to grab this nub up here in the top, and that gives me a ton of leverage for a sharp turn, because I can just apply pressure like this. And again, it just takes a little getting used to, but it's pretty natural in all honesty. And you can see here, I can continue to take this pretty large round turn with no problem. And if I need to make quick maneuvers, I just grab this nub on the top, and that again gives me a lot of leverage to move the vehicle left or right. And for those of you wondering, everything works great with Autopilot. The buttons, the knobs, all the things here work perfectly fine. I really enjoy it, and I think it does a great job. And because of the screen, I have a great view of my screen, as well as standard Autopilot features and functionality. No changes there at all. Overall, the driving experience has been fantastic. And the other thing that I will call out that I said earlier is all the buttons and all the internals came with the steering wheel. So it was a very easy installation process. Did not have to swap out these buttons. The only thing that we did with EV Mods was we took out the computer module and put it in here. But other than that, it was a very simple and straightforward installation, and I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so let's just talk about my experience so far with this custom steering wheel from PimpMyEv. Overall, it's been fantastic, and again, pay no mind, I'm just moving this to my other Tesla Model Y, but man, this thing has been absolutely incredible to use. And it's for a few reasons, right? One, it is obviously very unique. And that's the thing that I really love about PimpMyEv is just the amount of options that you have to customize your steering wheel is pretty endless, and that I really loved about it, right? Because what you're seeing here, this is just one variant. This is the cockpit style. It comes from the steering wheel category, but they have a whole set of customizations for yoke-styled steering wheels and other odd shapes and interesting things for whatever kind of tickles your fancy. But overall, driving it has been great. I think the hybrid approach for the design worked really well. You kind of get your classic like steering wheel bottom, and you've got your yoke-ish style top. I love that I have full access to my dash screen that I installed. And then ultimately what really sets this thing apart is build quality, right? So when I look and touch this steering wheel, it feels so premium. It feels like something that should be in a Porsche or, you know, a high-end M-Class or an AMG. Because of the high-quality carbon fiber, it feels great to handle. The Alcantara here, the carbon fiber thumb grooves, this thing overall is just, it's a bit of a work of art. I really, really like it. Maybe I'm like hyping this thing up, but I mean, I really enjoy it because I got to customize it. But I will say it did take a while for this thing to arrive. It took about 8 weeks for it to finally get to me, and then I had to go and get it installed. But again, it's because this is a fully custom steering wheel. And the thing that I liked about PimpMyEv is I got an email at every major milestone in the production of this steering wheel. So when they were sourcing materials, when they were molding the carbon fiber, when they were hand stitching the Alcantara to the steering wheel, when they were safety testing it and quality controlling it, I got an email at every step of the way. So I knew where the steering wheel was in the process. It wasn't just like no communication over the last 8 weeks. I knew exactly what was happening with the steering wheel, and that was also really nice. It was kind of part of the experience. And finally, I mean, it came down to the price, right? This isn't a cheap piece of hardware, but nothing custom really is. But I will say it's not that much more expensive than, say, some of the other steering wheels that you can get configured on other like third-party Tesla accessory websites. I think this configuration came in around $1,100 or so dollars. It has the heated function as well, but it's like the extra carbon fiber, the Alcantara, the carbon fiber thumb grooves, the trim, all those pieces add up, but they were well worth the money. This is a beautiful piece of hardware. So who is this for? I think this is for someone who obviously wants to customize their Tesla, but someone who wants something a lot more unique than what's available on the market today and wants something that they can personalize and customize to their very specific liking. For me, I think this really hit the mark. It is not a cheap product, but it doesn't feel like a cheap product. And I think that's the big difference between this and some of the other Tesla accessories I've tested in the past, right? You may get a $500-$600 refrigerator from a company and it's like mediocre in terms of build quality. This thing feels incredibly premium because of the price you pay. And I think that is a good value, a good, not return on investment, but a good exchange of money for goods and services, because this thing is built really, really well, and it feels like a lot of the money that you spent went into the materials, the construction, the time, and the manufacturing of this custom steering wheel. And in terms of driving experience, you saw the video. I mean, it's really easy to make fast and quick maneuvers. I don't lose a lot of time, and again, learning curve is relatively quick, especially with this design here. I went for the rounded bottom. There are different shapes and options that are a bigger departure from your classic steering wheel, and those, I will tell you, also don't take a very long time to learn how to use. I mean, I'm testing a more classic yoke style steering wheel in one of my other Model Ys right now, and the learning curve was, I don't know, a few minutes. It's really, really not as crazy as everyone thinks it is. Like, you're not going to know how to operate your vehicle because the shape of your steering wheel is a square or semicircle. No. Most of you have been driving for years and you'll figure it out. But anyways, all in all, my experience has been really great working with PimpMyEv. I think the biggest piece, even having to wait a really long time, I think they did a great job of keeping you in the process, like knowing where my steering wheel was, what was being done to it, all the different pieces and parts that go in to making this actually adds to the anticipation when you get it. It's like really mind-blowing opening up the box for the first time. This thing was crazy. It just looks so good. And then you finally get your hands on it, you get it installed, and you're driving around. Feels like you're driving around a spaceship, and I love it. Anyways, if you enjoyed this content, hit that like button, subscribe for more just like this. I will leave a link to the customization page for PimpMyEv and a discount code for you guys, but check this out. I would highly recommend for you out there that want a fully custom setup. All right, I will catch y'all in the next one.